next 5 years, who wins more games, Doug Pederson or Nick Sirianni?
Wow.
Welcome back to the middle. Barrett Brooks, Dan Cilio. So I guess the World Cup is doing their groupings today.
There you go.
No, wait.
Golf.
Well, no. Here's why America will never, ever in my lifetime get to a Final Four in World Cup play. You want to know why?
Why is that?
Because it's nothing but country club kids in America and around the world. Kids and people have nothing, play soccer, and you don't have to pay $25,000 or $30,000 to join a club and go to all those camps. And after a while, what they do is they just got a bunch of rich white kids that belong to country clubs. And quite frankly, when you look at Chile, you look at Brazil, you look at Italy, you look at Germany, soccer's open to everyone. Okay, you can be poor in those countries, and many of them are. How can Costa Rica? I'm not even sure they have indoor plumbing. How can that team beat Team USA all the time? How can they be one of the better teams in the world? And we have all these resources. America, it's an elitist bunch of kids that play on the U.S. national team. Now, it's getting a little bit better. You know, they've gotten better, but Argentina, those kids come from nowhere, Barrett, with no money, and they're given opportunities. You want to know why basketball and football, many of the kids, when you see a bunch of inner city kids on the national team, that's when the United States will be somewhere. That's when the United States will be somewhere in the world. But right now, guess what? It's a joke to even think that we'll ever compete with somebody like Brazil or Argentina or any of those places. It never happened.
You're absolutely right, because it doesn't give parity. You know, it doesn't give you an opportunity. You look at basketball. Basketball is something that kids can play in a park. They can get better. They can hone their skills. Football, you know, is kind of the same way. Yes, an expensive sport, but it's not something that we make our inner city kids play for. They have a lot of programs which keep them in the fold with football. You know, so a lot of their dreams can be put, you know, because they play it. If you have a dream and you don't realistically have a shot or an opportunity to obtain it, it's tough. That's why, you know, hockey, you know, it's not a lot of black kids in hockey because the sport is just
the equipment
damn expensive, man.
That's right. The equipment, the shoot, the skates along, the CCMs, those are $650.
Right.
What kid in the inner city has an opportunity to get the padding and all that stuff? And by the way, it's funny you said something to me a couple of days ago. You played soccer early. Yeah, You know what happened? It gets to a point, every kid in the world or every kid in America plays soccer early. Then all of a sudden, when your parents have to see that, they have to send you to an Ajax camp or they have to – you know who told me all this too?
Who's that?
Landon Donovan. He's the guy that told me – I'm friends with Landon Donovan. And Landon Donovan told me when America opens up the opportunity for everyone in this country to play it without – being hijacked and the parents have to spend $100,000 to get their kids where they want, that's when soccer is going to be a player in the world in America. Until then,
that's why baseball is on the decline, because you just can't afford to play. All the camps you got to go to in baseball and all the travel teams, just like basketball, they find a way to get these kids an opportunity to go and play AAU basketball. But they stopped doing that with baseball. Baseball is so expensive to play. That's why, you know, a lot of kids stop playing it. It's too damn expensive to play. I mean, I just like my daughter playing softball, playing field hockey, and playing, you know, I'm like, basketball, even then, I'm like, we got to go where?
Yeah.
We got to go to Chicago. How much is going to be? You know, it's like crazy. You know, so, it's become one of those, money's becoming so, you got to invest so much money for your kids to even compete. That's why, you know, a lot of the United States is falling behind with everybody else. You look at kids in Italy, Germany, like places like that. They have like 12-year-olds. They're getting paid by soccer clubs $1 million, paying their family $1 million to send them to these camps. Can you believe that?
That's an absolute fact that they recruit these kids, send kids like Messi to these camps,
Yeah.
and these people come from nothing. But in America, you have to pay for those camps.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
Okay, you have to pay for that. By the way, I want to throw this at you, and you tell me what you make of this here. Then we'll get on to the question that we asked you: who you think has more wins over the next 5 years, Sirianni or Pederson? I think that Bruce Arians has done more for the Rooney Rule than any coach in the last 25 years for what he's done by passing this off and this team off to Todd Bowles. Now, I don't know how we got to that point, because how did we go? I mean, Bruce Arians, do you believe him that he wasn't pushed out? Or do you believe that Brady had any? I find this hard to believe, because Barrett, he's the only coach to have 2 women on his coaching staff. He did it in Arizona too.
Yep.
His coordinators are both black.
Yep.
This has always been.
I played with Foot.
What's that?
I played with Foot. Me and Larry Foot.
How about this? He was also the first integrated roommates. Rondé Barber, Tiki Barber's father at Virginia Tech. This has been something that Bruce has been a Pied Piper for his entire coaching career. Why is it so hard for the media to believe that Bruce wanted a transition plan instead of Todd having a shitty Jets job, that he wanted to give? Now, I'll tell you what, do you know that Todd Bowles is one of the very few African-American head coaches that will be given a second opportunity? Okay, most African-American coaches that are fired don't get second opportunities.
Right. Yep.
But do you believe that Bruce in his heart really wanted to set this up for him? The Glazers have got everything set up, and you've got the GOAT. There's a lot of pressure on Todd, because what if Todd fails?
Right.
Okay? There's more pressure on Todd, I think, than any other coach in the NFL this year. You've got the GOAT. You're one of the very few black coaches to get a second chance to be a head coach. Just your take on it. I commend Bruce for what he's doing and what he did.
I do commend him for that, but you know what? It's going to be a lot of pressure on him, period, since it's his second go around. But I think it's more so, it's Lovey's second time also. But I think, the way, Bruce has set it up, I think Bruce set it up like that. I think the only reason why he came back and he was going to stay was because of Brady being gone. But once Brady said, I'm coming back, I think it's set up perfectly. All right, then if I leave now, he's going to have the best chance to succeed with the best quarterback to ever play the game coming back. And he alone will allow other players to come. He already has a lot of confidence in Byron Leftwich. Byron Leftwich and Tom get along, very well. So I know that aspect of the game will be taken care of on the offensive side of the ball. All really he has to do is take care of the defensive side of the ball. So, I mean, it's you got two offensive coordinators running the team with Brady and Byron. So it's set up perfectly for him. I think it'll be easy. This will be his easiest stint as a head coach because everything's laid out for him. And he has a team. He has a squad, a ready-made squad. It's almost like to me, it's almost like the transition is almost as seamless as when Gruden left the Raiders and came to Tony Dungy's team that he had already put together, and they won a Super Bowl after that. Dungy set it up perfectly for Gruden to come in and just win automatically. He had the defense there. He had a tough offense, ground and pound offense. And, all he needed, I mean, if he had any other situation, I'd say, he set up to fail. But this time he is really set up in a nice place, man. I mean, it's almost better than Gruden when he got set up by Tony Dungy. If Dungy would have stayed there, he would have won a Super Bowl that next year also.
Dungy ends up getting, and he's one of the other guys, he ends up getting a second chance in Indianapolis, and he goes on to win a Super Bowl there in Indianapolis.
Yep.
Because he had Peyton Manning there. By the way, the story goes that Byron Leftwich didn't even want to coach, and it was Bruce Arians who talked him into it. Byron just wanted to play golf and stay retired, and it was Bruce Arians that talked him into becoming or a head coaching candidate and an offensive coordinator.
He was there. He was with when I left, I retired in 07.
Oh, so it started in Pittsburgh.
Yep, in Pittsburgh. That's what I'm saying. He was there with Bruce. I had left. I had retired in 07, and it was Leftwich, Charlie Batch, and Ben were the quarterbacks.
Huh.
So that's how it all started. Those three right there. And he's like, look, man, if you got a gift, man, you got a gift of gab, man. You can like, I was gonna coach, and I know how to relate to these players, understand these players. That's what helps me out a lot when I go do these college football games, because I see things from a player's perspective, almost like I'm, when I'm talking on TV, when I'm talking breaking down plays, it's like I'm coaching, the fans of what's going on. They'll see, I'm like, yeah, you see it's cover two. Those two high safety, that's covers two. Watch these corners. These corners on the outside, the two guys on the outside, they're squatting, meaning they're not moving. They're sitting right there waiting for something to come into their zone. And watch this linebacker buzz out. That's the way I explain it when I'm doing these games. And that's how coaches explain to these, to their players how to play the game. So, bro, I should have been a coach, man, but it's just too much, moving. It's too iffy, man.
Hey, if I knew the money that they're throwing around for being mediocre,
right,
I should have got into coaching years ago, because you don't have to be very good to be to get paid in this thing, man. I mean, dude, they're throwing cash around for shitty coaches now. I mean, seriously, man. All right. Next 5 years. Who wins more games, Doug Pederson or Nick Sirianni?
Wow. I mean, the next 5 years, man. I got a lot of faith in Doug. A lot of faith in Doug that he can turn it around. I got a lot of faith in Doug because he knows how to build a winning culture. He's been around a winning culture. He's always had.
And he don't have anybody in his way.
Yes. It'll be his deal. And he is not going to fail. He's not set up to fail, and he's not going to fail there. But then I look at Eagles and the tradition that they have, and understanding that it's tough, man, because you're asking the wrong question. You're asking the wrong people, because to me you have to ask, who's going to win more? Is it going to be Doug Peterson, or is it going to be Howie Roseman?
Okay, you want to take it upstairs? Oh, okay, yeah. All right, that's fine. Who wins more? Wait a minute. Here's the better one. Who wins the divorce? Doug Peterson or Howie Roseman over the next 5 years? Who wins the divorce? Xander, put the picture up. Put the picture up, Xander.
Who wins the divorce?
Who wins the divorce over the next 5 years?
Oh, man. That's tough, man.
You want me to change the question? There it is.
You know what? I think that Howie has to go out and win, man. And I'm just gonna be truthful, man. I hate it because I'm an Eagles fan.
There it is.
Come on, man.
Hey, man, why are you tap dancing around this question?
I am, seriously.
You're
I am
tap dancing,
I am.
Man. Big old Bears tap dancing.
You know what? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. The Eagles are gonna win more. Howie Roseman's gonna win more games. These next. I think Doug has 2 years to change this around. I think he's gonna change it around, but it's not until his 3rd year where they're gonna have some really good success. I think the Eagles are gonna stay successful because Howie's gonna make sure of that. Howie's gonna go out if he's got to go out and get somebody else, he'll go out and do that. And I think he's tied right now. He's not tied to Jalen Hurts. I think he's tied more to the guys he just brought in. To Smith, to Mailata. He's tied more to them than he is to the quarterback.
So okay. All right, so let me see. That took about 20 minutes to get there. Okay.
I went around the world.
No. You thought it out. Watch this. Doug Peterson's going to win more games. He's got a better quarterback. He's got nobody in his way. I do agree with somebody that threw out there that Trent Baalke will stick his fat face in. They'll jettison his ass in a minute. That's the reason Leftwich didn't get that job, was because Baalke destroyed the 49ers. And believe me, he's on the hot seat. Doug Peterson's not on the hot seat there. Doug's going to settle the waters there in Jacksonville. Will the owner have the patience? Jim Irsay doesn't have patience. You know, you can shit all over Carson Wentz all you want. You know, he's had 6 different quarterbacks in the last 6 years.
Yeah.
Has exactly. Jim Irsay. So when you have 6 quarterback changes in the last 6 years, I don't know. You know, he's gauging everybody at the heels of Andrew Luck. Goes, that's what a franchise quarterback looks like. Well, guess what? He hasn't been in your building in 6 years, and he ain't coming back. Like Patino says, Larry Bird and Kevin McHale ain't coming through them doors anymore, right? And Andrew Luck ain't coming through the Colts doors anymore. It's over. I look at Doug Peterson, and Doug Peterson is going to – do you think he has Andy Reid success?
Yes.
That means you think he wins a Super Bowl then?
Yes. He's already won one.
Dude, if that guy wins a Super Bowl in Jacksonville, he's a Hall of Famer.
Bro, I'm going to tell you the truth, man. Doug is a really, really talented coach. His ability to not just know X's and O's, but he knows how to get the maximum out of his players. People don't understand the year he won the Super Bowl, he maximized every single ounce of those players that he had there. Bro, he had some BS there, bro. He was playing with guys like Big V. Big V is trash. He was sorry. He was soft as drugstore cotton. He was worse than the wet paper bag, but he maximized the offense around even his inefficiencies. You know what I'm saying? Jason Peters was not there on the field. He had Big V out there. I mean, come on, man. Sproles wasn't there. He brought in a guy that unrestricted. He brought in an undrafted running back, Corey Clement. Corey Clement had 4 catches for 100 yards. Talk about maximizing potential of the players you had. And that's what Doug called a great game, and he maximized his players' potential. He had a guy in Nelson Aguilar couldn't catch a cold during his tenure with the Eagles, but he maximized his potential. That's what Doug does. Doug takes his players and maximizes and brings out every single ounce that they have in him. That's what he was in the playoffs, bro. He missed the playoffs 2 years. His tenure here with the Eagles, 2 years. His first year and his last year. The only times he didn't go to the playoffs. He went to the playoffs 4 different times. So when you say, all right, Doug won here. You know, it was Doug's team. Doug maximized any of the BS that he was sent by that front office.
So am I right when I say this? How he took the credit at the beginning of the run and blamed Doug at the end of the run.
Yes.
Well, how do you win a Super Bowl and then 4 years later you win 4 games?
Right.
How do you go from – did they win 13 ball games that year?
What? Yeah, 13-3, yep.
Okay. How do you go from winning 13 ball games to winning 4 in 4 years? That ain't a head coaching deal, dog. That's a roster. That's chaos.
Yes.
There's all kinds of shit inside there. Fill in the gap for me, man. How do you – look, like you said, look at the bookends. Okay, so Howie's over here. He's given himself the crown. He the self-acclaimed prophet of the Eagles. And over here, at the end of the day, it's his fault. How did it go from that to that?
Bro, he has, during that time period, an entire draft class is not on his roster. During his whole tenure, during that whole time since he won the Super Bowl to now, the draft classes in between there are some draft classes, there's not one guy from that draft class there. That's how you don't do it. When you draft,
and the free agents that he signed were bums.
Well, yeah, but you look at it. Donnell Pumphrey is not here. Sidney Jones, Rasul Douglas. These are guys that are supposed to be franchise players here, not necessarily franchise, but players here that's supposed to be here, carry on the lineage of re-signing them back and being focal points in this defense. But they're gone, man. They're gone. They don't even have these players. You have 2 guys on your roster right now that are not good receivers, but are receivers on this roster. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside and Jalen Reagor are his draft picks. And you're expecting a coach to win with that type of productivity? I don't care that J.J. Arcega-Whiteside can block. I don't need him to block. I need him to catch.
You don't draft a guy in the first round to block. You draft him to be explosive.
So when you say that, man, it's and you're right. Look at Rasul Douglas. Rasul Douglas is about to sign. I think he might have already signed a great contract with Green Bay right now. Sidney Jones is balling in Seattle right now. What happened to he's not taking accountability for those draft picks that are in between there. I mean, come on, man. This entire draft class is not there. How does that happen?
And we're not talking about 5 years ago. We're talking about a few years ago.
Right. Dan, if you 3 years ago, you have an entire draft. You might have drafted 10 guys, and not one of those guys is on your roster. That's bad mojo, man. That's bad football, bro.
Douglas signed a $20 million deal with the Packers.
See?
And he cut him, right?
He cut him, yeah. But he was balling. They just signed him back. He was balling, dog. I liked him when he was here. They just didn't run a defense, that could help him out. He was long. He's like fast. Diggs. He's just like Diggs. Just like Diggs. That's a perfect example for him. He's a heady player, smart player. They just didn't give him an opportunity to grow.
Damn. Hey, okay. Here's one too. Who do you think the fans are looking forward to more coming to Link? Wentz or Doug?
Oh, without a doubt, Wentz.
Oh, they want his ass, right?
Oh yeah, they'll applaud Doug when he comes in. They'll roll out the red carpet for Doug.
Wait a minute. The Eagle fans are gonna cheer when Doug walks through during warmups.
Absolutely. Yes, they will.
You know what Xander said?
What's that?
Xander goes like this: anybody who boos him, you can unsubscribe. He's like, hey, you know what? You don't have to come back. See, here's how I thought Philly would do him, though. Doug first, then Wentz. I thought that they would get this guy, applaud him, stand. See, this is what I would do. I'd do this in the warm-ups. And when the game's on, hey, you're the enemy now.
Bro, I played against my cousins on different teams, cut block them and everything else, bro. We are cousins when we're on the field, bro.
Hey, family got nothing to do with that shit when we're out there,
man. No, not at all.
I'm gonna blow you up, man.
Not at all. Exactly. I got to get you. I got to get. In fact, my cousin Isaac Keys. Now Isaac Keys right now, he's you watch Power?
Yeah.
He's on the new Power with
killer.
His name's Diamond.
Okay.
On the new Power with Tommy.
Yeah.
That's my cousin Isaac, man.
All right.
Isaac played in Minnesota, and he played in with the Cardinals, and we're playing against each other in this preseason. And I cut him. He said, "Come on, damn, cuz I'm already gonna get cut. Now you come and cut me."
You cut him. You cut him in a preseason game. Hey, man.
He said, damn, cuz I'm about to get cut. Then you gonna cut me too? Damn.
Oh my God. Hey, I'm praying for this, dude. And I'll be there for this. Wentz opening night, Sunday night, Lincoln Financial. He rolls into that building with that Washington team, dude. Man. Boy, hey, I don't care about the Cowboy game. I want that game. That's a game. Well, I want to see that game.
It's gonna be.
And if he beats Wentz, and if he beats Jalen,
that's what's gonna happen.
He is good. I know it. You know what? He said it this time. I
You know why
yeah.
I say that?
Oh,
It's
I
the same
know.
thing when Ben came back. Ben Simmons came back. He came back on the 10th, March 10th. And what happens? They end up winning. He didn't play, though, but they ended up winning.
They
I hate to
crushed him.
do it to him if he does it. I hate if he does it, man. I hate it because it's not that I don't like him.
You hate his disposition.
Yes, I do. I want
I
to.
get it.
To me, he doesn't have the Eli face, but he has the Eli disposition. Yeah, I don't like that, man. I want
Because
to.
it's got to be trust and all that other shit.
Right.
And
He
he
don't.
just doesn't. You know what though? It's funny. I want to hit on something. Jim Irsay said something again, Barrett.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what he said about him. Not it's kind of indirectly aimed at him. We'll hit on that. We'll also take a look at some of the things that are popping up in the draft here, and potentially the Eagles either moving down or up again to look at a particular player. He's Barrett Brooks. I'm Dan Cilio. Hour 2 coming up. Keep it right here on